In this video, we're going to look at how to recreate the L bracket in Onshape. So the first thing you want to do is click on the Create button and then click on Document and give your document a title. We're going to call this one L bracket. And then we hit the Create button. Now that should load up our Part Studio. Now, when you get a 3D model similar to this, you first have to decide which is the best view to start drawing it from. Now, if you look at how the drawing is presented, I would recommend starting from the front view, or taking the front view from the left side of the object and just recreate this shape right here. And then what we'll do next is extrude it to the total width and then come back and cut away the pieces that we don't want. So we'd cut away this rectangular piece here, we'll cut away this circle, and then we'll make this what we would call a chamfer right here. So if I want to start on this front view, what I'll do is I'll come to my sketch tool and it will ask to select the plane. I'll click on the front plane. Then I always recommend hiding the other planes so you have less lines working with. The next step would be to right click and go view normal to sketch plane. Now I'll get my line tool. But before I do that, I'll make sure my workspace units are in inches, and it's in inches, so I don't need to change anything right there. But if you notice, when I clicked on that, I'm now no longer in my sketch menu. So what I would do to get back into my sketch menu is double click on sketch 1. And if you notice, I'm now back in my sketch menu. I'll then click on my line tool, and I'm going to create this L shape. But I'm going to make it as tall as this height instead of cutting it off right here. So I'll go. And if you notice, I started at the origin because I want my drawing to be fully defined. So I just made my L shape. And just looking at this, the height of this line is 0.75. It's given right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to apply my dimensions first and then come back and change them later. So I need to apply a dimension here for the bottom line. I need to have one here. I need to have one for the top. And I need to have one here. Now, if you notice, as I entered those or applied those dimensions, my sketch changed to black, which indicates that it's fully defined. Now I can always go back and make my adjustments. So this left line is presented here, the dimension, which is 2.5. So to change that, I'll double click and then I'll enter 2.5. The width of the top is 0.75, which is given here. So I'll double click on that, then I change that to 0.75. The length of the bottom is 4.5, which is given here. Double click and change that to 4.5. And then the height of this line is given here, which is 0.75. Now, if my dimensions are too far away, I can just drag them up, and I'm just clicking and dragging. And why you want to do that is you want to make sure if you click on front to zoom in everything, you can still see a good view of your drawing. Now I have the basic shape. What I'll do next is I'm going to extrude it to the thickness. But before I do that, I want to enter that sketch. So I hit the green check to indicate that I'm finished sketching. And then I can do two things. I can right click and I can go to isometric, or I can come to the cube right here and I can just click in this top right hand corner and it changed the shape to like an isometric view. The next thing to extrude this or to convert this to 3D, what I'll do is I'll click on the extrude button and I'm going to click the feature or the sketch that I'm trying to extrude. Then I'm going to change. If you notice, as I clicked it, it gave a preview of what my 3D model is, but it's only extruded to a depth of 1 inch. I want it to be to a depth of 3 inches, so I'll go ahead and change that to 3. Now, as I change that to 3, notice it's selected to blind. The arrow is pointing here. I can click that to make it go the other direction, or I can hit symmetric to make it extrude both directions. In this particular drawing, either one of those options work, but I'm going to keep mine as symmetric for now. And I'll hit my green check because I now have my 3D model, my sketch converted to 3D. But if you notice, it's missing the circle, it's missing this rectangle, and that little chamfer right there. Now let's do this part first. How do you do that? What you'd want to do is you'd want to create a new sketch on this face right here. So what I'll do, I'll select sketch, and it's asking you to select the sketch plane. You notice by this message here. Normally we would click on top, front, and right, but we want to create the sketch on this face of the object. So we'd go ahead and we'd click this face. And if I right click and drag, you'll notice that the sketch plane is right on that face. And then I'll go right click, view normal to sketch plane, because I want to make my drawing square so that I can see what's going on with it. The next thing is I would click on the line tool, and I'm going to hover over this line. Now, if you notice, as I hover over the line, it changes to yellow. That means if I click, I'm selecting that line. And then I'm going to drag over to the right, hover over the line, and click again. Now, the dimension from the top to the point is 1 inch, or that the dimension from here to the top is 1 inch. And the dimension from the right side of the object all the way over to the point where it starts is 2 inches. So to enter that, what I'll do, I go to my dimension tool, and I'm going to say, okay, my distance from the top to this line is 1 inch. And I'm just going to undo that and run it again. So notice after selecting dimension, when I click this line, nothing happens. That's because we need to dimension between 2 points, because this line is already dimensioned. So you have to select that line and then come and click this one. If I clicked it twice, it would say an entity cannot be dimensioned to itself. So that means I should not have clicked this line twice. So let me exit that, make sure I'm in dimension, and I'm clicking the line, and then I'm going to click the point. And you notice the dimension popped up, and we're changing it to 1 inch. And then I'm going to go to the right side because we want to get the distance from this part of the object to here. So we're going to go to from the right side to the point, and we're going to bring that up. And that is given to be 2 inches. Now notice my sketch is now fully defined once I applied those 2 dimensions. I'm going to hit that green check. I'm going to right click, go back to isometric. I'm going to just zoom out a little bit. And then I'm going to use the same extrude feature. Now, this time, instead of saying new, I'm going to click on remove because I want to remove this section. And after clicking on remove, I'm going to change it from blind, and I'm going to go to through all because I want to remove all of that. I'll click this triangle, and if you notice, it gives you a preview that that whole piece will be taken off. I'm going to hit the green check. Now my drawing is starting to take shape. The next thing is I need to put this circle in. Now I bet you'll guess that I'm going to click on sketch, and then I'm going to click on this face to put my circle on that plane. And you'll also tell me you need to right click and go view normal to sketch plane to kind of square it up. Now to use a circle, I'm just going to click on the circle tool, center point circle. And if you notice as I hover right here, you see that center line, that little line that's popping up? If I click here, it's going to lock my circle to the midpoint of the object. I don't want to do that because I have two dimensions to apply. Even though this is 1.5, which indicates that it's half of this, if it was a case where this was less than a half, you wouldn't want to lock it to the midpoint. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put my tool right about there and make my circle, not locking it to the midpoint. Then I'll go ahead and I'll select my dimension tool. And I'm going to put a dimension that will give the diameter of the circle. And I just click the circumference and drag that out, click. And then I'm going to go from the center point to the right side, drag that up, click. And then I'm going to go from the center point to the left edge and drag that to the right. You could also drag it to the left, and I'm going to click. Now, if you notice, my circle now changed to black because it's fully defined in that space. Now, the distance from this side, which is here, to the center is given to be 1.5. The diameter of the circle is given to be 0.75. And then the distance from the center of the circle to the right side of the block, which is from here to the edge, is given as 2.67. Now my circle is where it's supposed to be. Now I'm going to hit my green check. And I'm going to right click, go back to isometric. And then I'm going to do remove. So I hit the extrude button, then select remove, click on blind, change it to through all. And then I'm going to click the entity that I'm trying to remove, which is a circle. And I'm clicking inside the circle. And then hit the green check. And if you notice, my circle has been cut out. The last part would be to create this rectangle and remove that section right here. We could do it by doing a sketch on this face, or we could do a sketch on this face. I'm going to do a sketch on this face. So I'm going to go to sketch. I'm going to click on it. And then I'm going to right click, go view normal to sketch plane. And this time I'm going to use the corner rectangle tool. So I'm going to hover over the line about here. I'm going to click, and I'm just going to make a rectangle. Now, the distance of the edge right here to the other edge is given to be 2 inches. So what that dimension is, I'm going to go to my dimension tool, is saying that this distance right here is given to be 2 inches. And it also says that the distance from the edge to the back of the rectangle from here to here is given as 1.5 inches. I'm going to enter that. If you notice, my rectangle is not centered. That's because I did not enter this dimension, and also it's still not fully defined. So I need to enter the distance from the edge to where the rectangle starts. So from this edge to where the rectangle starts, which is 0.5. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to click where the rectangle starts, pull that out, click, and that is given as 0.5. If you notice, my sketch is now fully defined. Then I'll hit my green check. I'm going to right click, go to isometric. I'm going to hit on the extrude tool. I'm going to select remove. Then I'm going to click on blind and go to through all. And then I'm going to click the feature that I'm trying to remove. And I hit the green check. And there you have it. We have recreated the L bracket within Onshape.